I'm Morgan from Pack Hacker, and in this video we're taking a look at the Roaring Fire Ridger Waist Pack, which I've been testing for 2 weeks. If you find this video helpful, hit subscribe so that we can continue making content that helps you travel smarter. Let's jump in. So this particular version is made from a 1000D Cordura nylon, which is super rugged, very durable, very protective. It also comes in another rustic brown color that's made from a waxed canvas. The front, as you can see, has a nice Velcro field, which allows you to hook on or attach patches pretty easily, and it's super secure, so seems appropriate. And then on top of that, there are these 2 elastic loops, which you can, secure items. You can either hook stuff on, or because it's elastic, you can just kind of store them in here. They're very tight, so definitely keep that in mind. And I think that it should do depending on the object, of course, it should do a good job of keeping items secure. These zippers are YKK and are incredibly smooth, especially around the corners. And these zipper pulls have a waxed end to them, just to kind of help with locating and operating the zippers. And then on the sides of the waist pack, there are 2 additional loops for attaching gear on both sides, which is nice. And then there are these little pulls, which I believe are kind of just used to secure one end. They're like an area for you to grip, but you can also attach larger carabiners to them if you want to hang stuff here as well. The branding is pretty minimal, with just this small little Roaring Fire tab right here. So there are no grab handles on this waist pack. It's pretty minimal, and so it's fairly compact size. You can kind of hold it as a sling, or as a clutch pretty easily. The strap itself is super smooth. It's made from a nylon, like a seatbelt, super smooth, and it adjusts really easily. And so it's one of the smoothest straps, I would say. And it is super helpful, especially when you have the waist pack on and you just want to, adjust the length of the strap from either end, which is also a nice bonus. You can also have it at its longest, and it can be somewhat of a sling. I will say it's not the most comfortable, and it is limiting just because it is primarily designed as a waist pack. And so it can attach with a simple plastic buckle in the middle, somewhat chunky, and that's really about it. There are no other grab handles. It's primarily designed as a waist pack, and it does it's super comfortable as a waist pack. So this is what it looks like on. It is pretty comfortable, and like I said, the strap length is super easy to adjust thanks to the super smooth material. And because it has this super chunky buckle, it is also pretty easy to take on and off. And like I mentioned, you can also wear it as a crossbody sling, depending on how you like to wear it. So it hangs decently. If you prefer a little bit longer hanging sling, this might not necessarily be ideal, just because this is it at its max. Taking a look at the interior, on the front, there's this front zippered pocket, which takes up about the entirety of the front face, and it has a nice zipper dock all the way at the corner for secure storage. And it also kind of ensures that if it gets caught in the rain, the water just kind of brushes past and doesn't get through one of the treads. But this pocket is also RFID protected, which is super nice to see. It's ideal for wallets, banknotes, or key fobs. Inside here, I just have some chapstick and some gum. And so as you can see, it's got a nice space. Sitting right here behind the Velcro field does have like a little bit of a crinkly like paper sound to it just because of the Velcro, but not like a huge issue. There is a rear compartment right here with another zipper, and this takes up the entirety of the back panel with foam padding, which is also part of the air mesh for the harness system. And then inside, I typically just store my phone here. The entirety of this pocket is felt lined, which is also really nice, especially for things like a phone or something with device like a screen, or glasses you could store in here, but I would be just a little careful since this is sitting up against your body. You don't want them to get crushed, even though this pocket does have padding. But you can also just keep this open and use it as a slip pocket, which is my favorite way to do it, and it is super easy, super convenient. And then if you wanted to secure it down, just zip it closed. Taking a look at the main compartment, it has dual zippers and a super wide opening, which is really nice for getting like a nice overview of everything inside. It can basically operate as just like a standalone area for you to put all of your gear, but it also has some built-in organization. Let's see, so inside I have field notes journal, a wallet, and a pair of wireless AirPods. Towards the back, there's this zippered pocket right here, and it's got like mesh so that you can kind of see through it and has like a little bit of visibility. It's not stretchy at all, and because it's kind of built into the back, it's better for like flatter items. So like the field notes book fits nicely in here, or like cash would also be ideal in this area. And then on the other side, there is like a little organization panel, and it's got two super wide loops as well as two smaller loops on top of the wider loops for extra organization, and then a dedicated pen loop as well. And I have like a little tiny James pen. And so this is kind of like an interesting design just because you can really only fit super small or short pens in here. Standard pens don't fit because they have to go in vertically. You can of course just store one in like the main compartment, but the pen loop seems a little weird then. Or like a iPad stylus also can't fit in here because it's just so long. But when not in use, it also sits up against the wall of the compartment, so it's kind of out of the way. I've used this to secure like my wallet just to ensure that it doesn't flail around, but it still does like a really nice job of, you know, providing a little bit of extra organization. And then it also has like a nice little amount of expansion as well, as you can see there. So there you have it, the Roaring Fire Ridger Waist Pack. Thanks for keeping it here, Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next video.